What's up, guys? Dylan Rush with Cage Side Press, joined today by a flyweight fighter boasting a perfect 3-0 professional record, set to take on Isaiah Torres for a flyweight championship belt in the main event of Battle MMA Championships 13 on April 27th at the Penrose Event Center in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Micah Super Jew Haas. How you doing, Micah?
Let's go. I appreciate the introduction, and I super appreciate the time you're taking out, Mr. Rush. Thanks for having me, boss.
Of course, man. Thank you for taking time. You ready to fight? That gets you pumped up? I'm a little Bruce Buffer, right?
Yeah, dude, that did get me pumped up. I'm psyched, man. As you get closer to the fight, your energy changes, your emotions start to change, and for me, I start to like really change eternally. It's like right now I'm in that kill state. It's like now I'm going to go work out later after this. So good.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
I know you already worked out for 4 hours a day. Is that normal during training camp? 4 hour workouts like that?
Yeah, so it is, and like I think every day, every fight camp, every fight, I tell myself that, oh, there's no next level to my preparation and things like this. But I am truly, truly all in this sport 100%. I quit my career. I was a licensed real estate officer, and a mortgage loan originator. I quit that job to come out here and train. I now train clients and other fighters to do what I do. I have my own business, which is called Be Your Best You Fitness, Bye Bye Fitness. Go check that out. BeYourBestFitness.com. Also on Instagram. So I train a minimum of 4 hours, typically 6 to 8 hours. So today was 8 hours at a 7 a.m. client, a 9 a.m. client. Then I trained at 11, and then I trained again at 2. And then I went and got massage, and then I trained at 5. And now I'm here sitting down with you.
Hell yeah, man. Sounds like a good day. 1 sec. I'm gonna cut this 30 seconds or 5 seconds out. I just don't want the TV going in the background. I should have saw that. But 1 sec. All right. All right. I'll cut that part out. I'm not gonna cut what you said out, but just this five
Yeah,
seconds.
perfect. Yeah, awesome.
All right. Before we get into this title fight, Mike, I want to ask you, I have to ask you because I've been wondering ever since we came in contact. Super Jew, how'd you get it? Where did it originate?
So it came super like organically and it's kind of perfectly. Again, if you listen to my name, my first name, Micah, it's actually Micah Mocha is how you pronounce it in like around my culture of people. But a big portion of why I fight 100% for myself and nobody else. But I also do fight for my culture and I fight for my family. It's one of the biggest things in my life like anybody else, but my mother is probably the most closest person, or she was the most closest person in my life. So making sure that I represent my culture, my Jewish blood just kind of keeps me connected to my mother. I'm a huge, huge, huge comic book nerd. I was a giant anime and comic book nerd before it was popular. Superman was one of my favorite superheroes for sure. So it kind of just happened naturally. I'm a Jew. And I'm super, so might as well put the two together, and it's a little cringe as well. I'm totally definitely cringe. I walk out to kind of fruity, not really intimidating songs. I wear really flashy colors. I bring my dog to weigh-ins and things like that. So it's just kind of that extra cringe just to make sure people know I'm not that serious.
Well, I like it though. You're unapologetically yourself. It's authentic, and that's the logo right there, right?
Exactly.
The shirt. That's the Super Jew logo.
Yeah, that's a Super Drew logo. So it's funny because I created this logo in 2019 and I got a cease and desist from Seth Rogen
No
like 6 months
way.
later. He actually created this symbol for a movie of his. And that's where I originally found the symbol that I liked. And I just copy pasted it. And then they gave me a cease and order. So I had to make my own logo. It's not the same Superman red, it's a Corvette red. And then I had to shrink the S a little bit, and then I had to get that copyrighted myself. So if you use this, my Jewish ass will sue you.
That's a crazy story. That's a great story. Let's
Yeah.
go to the start. Let's go chronologically. How did you get into MMA originally?
Um, I got into MMA. MMA as far as the actual practitioner of sports. When I was about 12, 13 years old, I started with wrestling. But I literally remember me and my older brother illegally copying or buying all the UFCs on DVDs when that was a way to watch them if you weren't wealthy enough to have television. I grew up very, very, very poor. Although my parents made decent money, I had brothers with not the best life choices and really kind of destroyed my parents' financials. So I grew up watching UFC like 6-8 months after each fight came out because we'd have to watch it on DVD when it came out. But I'm the youngest of five brothers. When you're youngest of five brothers, you're a human punching bag your whole life. I used to get beaten up, really, really beaten up by my older brothers in chronological age, from the oldest to the one that was closest in my age. And I realized when I was like 15 years old that I'm pretty good at taking a punishment. I'm pretty good at fighting people twice my age. One of my brothers was, he's no longer with me, as well as a few of my brothers because of their life choices. But I remember once when I was about 15 years old, I had a girlfriend, and my brother came home kind of, messed up on some drugs and alcohol, and started like pressing me about my girlfriend, and like started being like really inappropriate. And I was like, hey man, like press off or I'm going to mess you up. And he was, 26 at the time, and we got in this really bad fight. And I remember I put him in the arm bar and I broke his arm. And I remember like just hearing his breaking of his elbow and being like, are you going to stop? Are you going to stop? And him just not stopping. And then after we were done, he was like, man, I'm really proud of you, Mike. And I was like, I will never be scared to fight anybody my size, my weight class, after having to fight somebody twice my age, twice my size, and high on drugs, because that is a different type of fight. So after that, I really wanted to put a lot into it. So I started training MMA full time at 15 years old up until I was 19. I was pursuing college, wrestling at the same time. During summer one time, I was at a smoker event, and that's when I got one of my worst injuries, which was the 44 breaks in my mandible, the break of my 4 teeth. I cut and lacerated my tongue off all at the same time. Now I have this. That really took me out of it. From 19 to about 22, I was fully non-committed to being hit. I was scared to get hit, felt weird to get hit. I didn't want to get hit. I thought my face was going to be, weakened by it. I have a bunch of soldered titanium throughout my face now. I've never been knocked out, even when that happened. Now I think it makes my face even stronger and harder. I woke up when I was about 25, 26 years old, making an unbelievably good amount of money for what I was doing in real estate. And as every day went by and every check kept coming, I got more and more depressed. And I was like, man, if I keep doing this, just working a basic 9 to 5, I'm not going to make it to 30. So that's when I packed up everything. I moved away to Colorado, sold my job, sold my house, sold every single possession I had that couldn't fit in my car. And 2 weeks later, I showed up at Genesis Training Academy in Arvada, and I've been training with my gym and with my coach ever since, pursuing this dream.
You feel like this sport has helped mold you as a person, MMA?
So MMA 100% saved my life, 100%. Again, I grew up with a really hard lifestyle with, unfortunately put in positions that I didn't make myself. I 100% have made mistakes in my life, but a lot of the hardship that I've seen in my life was not my own. Without MMA, I would have 100% turned off the lights, if you want to say it that way, try to say it nicely. But MMA has 100% molded me. I don't think there's anything in my life that's been more influential in my life outside my family members and what I went through than MMA, 100%.
Wow. I'm sorry to hear about your brothers, man. That must have been.
It's okay. I always say it like this. I had the perfect examples of what not to do. And if it wasn't for them, then maybe I would have been that. So better them than me, as selfish as that sounds.
Yep. You've had impressive, to switch topics real quick, you've had impressive wins. You had impressive wins in the amateur scene. You suffered a few defeats, but you're now 3-0 as a professional. Did you make any changes to your training regimen between your jump from Ami to pro, or do you feel like you've just like continued to consistently improve over time?
So I always say this, like I'm pursuing this sport to absolutely every limit. I have the best nutritionist, the best massage therapist. I'm surrounded by awesome sponsors and awesome partners and things like this. But every day you always find that you're always trying to get 1% better and training 1% harder and 1% smarter. The biggest thing that changed from my amateur to my pro debut was mindset, was training smarter, but also just mindset, a sense of determination and a sense of self-love. Most losses in my life, I've always been the bridesmaid, never the bride. I was 2-time state finalist, number 1 ranked in the state, and lost both times. I've competed for 2 belts and lost both times against guys, in my opinion, I shouldn't have lost to. A lot of times, my own issues that I created myself through my own lack of self-love and lack of maybe determination and grit. During that transition period from when I said I'm an amateur and now I'm a pro, the biggest thing I did was a lot of just self-discipline and then just self-visualization, man. One of my biggest fears was, did I have the cardio to go 15 minutes? And I remember saying Jorge Masvidal said when he said, you're not in good shape until you know you're in good shape, or you're not in good shape until you think you're in good shape. If you're constantly thinking about it and questioning about it and in sparring, you're conserving your gas tank in fear that you're going to get tired, you're going to get tired. It was just this kind of moment where I woke up and said, man, you train harder than 99% of the guys in the sport. You train smarter than 99 guys in the sport. You have all the attributes to be a professional, so be a professional. And honestly, as stupid as it sounds, it's kind of like a light switch. I flicked the switch and I've been on this grind ever since with this sense of determination and self-love and mindset that not only am I going to make it, but I'm going to make it big and I'm going to make it the way I want to make it, you know?
Oh yeah, man. I'm happy you found that you made those changes. That's awesome to hear. You were originally booked to fight this guy, Isaiah Torres, in your pro debut. Now you're set to square off with him in a championship main event bout. Why did that fight originally fall through? And what do you know about Torres and what makes him a favorable stylistic matchup for yourself?
Yeah, so we know Isaiah well. He's fought in two of my teammates. He knocked out one of my teammates who's a super tough guy who's a training partner. The kid's no joke. He's a beast. He's a guy like me. We're both 5'9", 5'10". We're both big, lanky, athletic, good strikers, good grapplers, good jiu-jitsu guys. We've been on each other's radars for a while. Like you said, we were supposed to fight on our pro debut. I'm not trying to talk bad. I'm just talking truth. I've never pulled out in a fight. I pulled out one fight. That's when I tore my AC ligament. I that same day sent the X-rays to my opponent, apologized, then contacted the promotion. When me and him were supposed to fight, we were scheduled about 8 to 9 weeks prior to the fight, plenty of time for a great camp. Apparently he's a correctional officer. Apparently he was hit by a prisoner about a month prior to our fight and got a laceration under his eye. And that was his original reason he pulled out. About a week later, we saw some film of him training with some people without that laceration. A couple people that I was close to told me that the videos were recent. Other people told me it wasn't recent. So that's when we got a little like skepulated. We then rebooked the fight with the same promotion on the same date. And then he pulled out 4 days before my fight because he said he had COVID. Which, you know, nowadays isn't really a good excuse like it was prior. So it was crazy because then that was a sixth person. He wasn't my original person I was supposed to fight. He was the sixth person I was supposed to fight for my pro debut that I said yes to. With 4 days left for my pro debut, they strong-armed and basically forced my opponent at the time, Alex Rigo, to pull out from the opponent that he had and to fight me. And he did. And I respect him a lot for that because he was, you know, on a 0-1 record, and fighting somebody like me wasn't the best for him. And we took that win, and, you know, his record isn't as good as what it shows him as a fighter. But yeah, I'm super excited to fight this guy. This fight was supposed to happen. It needs to happen. We have a great game plan for him. I think I can beat him anywhere and everywhere. I think I'm just better, bigger, stronger, faster, smarter. Not to say that I'm not going to sleep thinking about him. I'm waking up extra early thinking about him. I'm going to bed extra early thinking about him. I have to do that. If I don't make my opponents as good or tougher than they are in my mind, I don't show out. So I'm giving him his respect. I'm definitely planning on him not pulling out and him showing up. But we do have somebody in the background just in case he does. But I'm pretty positive that he thinks he can beat me, which makes me excited to fight him.
Based on everything you've told me in this interview, I don't think you need any added motivation to go out there and win this title fight, but it seems like this guy might have given you some added motivation in the past.
Yeah, he really did. And you know, he's part of a former team that I'm not very happy with. And you know, you don't know me so much in the local community, but I would consider myself like anti-hero. I'm either a love or hate kind of guy. I've always been that way my entire life. I'm brash, I'm loud, I'm cocky, I'm colorful. So I rub people wrong a lot, and I like it that way. I'm a main character. I want them thinking about me. I'm not thinking about them. But I definitely am thinking about this kid. I'm excited to put my hands on him.
Definitely. What do you think a win would do for you on April 27th in Colorado Springs, Colorado? What would a win do for you at this point in your career?
So a win does mean nothing. It has to be exciting. I have very exciting fights. I have exciting intros. I have exciting post-fight commentary. My last fight wasn't exciting at all. And to be honest, that was of no fault of my own. One, I had an opponent that wasn't game. He was backing up the entire time, as he does in all of his fights. But I went in that fight with a torn Achilles. And nobody knew that except me and my team. I wasn't able to step on my lead leg the entire time. It's 100% better now, but because of that fight and because I didn't make it the most exciting fight ever, talking to the names that we need to talk to and the names that need to know us, they do know us, and they've given us some stipulations and some prerequisites of what we need to do to get to the big show. I need to knock him out. I need to make this look impressive. So I have an added pressure and added stress, not only to win, but to win very convincingly. But shout out to my manager, Archek Petrosian, Nightmare Management. He is legitimately one of the hardest working managers out there. He's a former pro fighter who has great connections with most all regional and national promotions. He's constantly putting my name out there. And the big names, the Sean Shelbys and Mick Mayers, we've talked to them, we've met them, and we know what we need to do. I need to beat this guy and hopefully get another fight soon and beat that guy. And then if possible, maybe jump on a replacement Dana White Contender Series. And if not, the goal is either get signed by the end of the year or hold out for the Ultimate Fighter next year, because we know if I can get in front of a camera, tell my story, that we're going to blow up. And then once I win the Ultimate Fighter, that would just make it all that bigger.
I believe it, man. I definitely believe you get this story in front of a camera. You show your true colors and all this. You be authentic. You be yourself. I think you definitely have a future inside and outside of the cage. Who are some training partners out there in Colorado that have helped you prepare for this fight, push you to your limits day in and day out?
Yeah. So Colorado is one of the best training areas in the country, in the world, not only because it's elevation, but also because we're really big in the cross training. But first, Jacob Ramos, my head coach, Art Petrosian, my manager, and also I consider him a coach. He corners me, and we do a lot of pad work. My main training partners, as far as actual fighters, Juan Rosales, who is a 2-1 pro. He should be 3-0. He absolutely won his last fight. He's an absolute dog. Mario Suazo, who is an absolute killer, signed with Fury, a knockout artist. Daniel Rodriguez. And then we've had a couple other guys join our gym recently. We have legitimately one of the best 125, 135 groups in the country. We are just a bunch of dogs. There's not a single easy round in our room. But then I've also been training not only at Genesis Training Academy, which is my home gym that I've been with for 6 years and who I owe all my skills and qualities to, but we've also been training with Peter Schaub over at Easton's Denver, he's truly, truly a master of the game. And with them two together, we've been putting not only taking away the kinks in my armor, but just adding and sharpening all my weapons.
What was the second coach's name? The last coach?
Peter Schaub.
Yeah, I love that guy, bro. I talk to Peter all the time, man.
He's the man. I would say you probably have seen him because he's with Grant Neal a lot.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys who's just like, very quiet and kind of a little intimidating, but at the same time, he just is 100% so willing to give you his time and energy, which has been amazing for us.
He shaves his head. I don't know if he does it every year or some years, most years, but he shaves his head for kids with cancer. And he asked me, like, he asked me why haven't I done it, and I was like, I don't know. And he was like, I think you hate kids with cancer. That's he always says kids with cancer. So.
He's one of those guys that like you don't think would be funny, so when he drops funny, it's like that's true funny,
he is funny. He is funny. You stole my next two questions. I was gonna ask you about the Colorado MMA scene, but before that, I'm gonna ask you right now about Jake Ramos. He's another guy. I've seen him with Peter a lot. I've seen him with Archie and with Grant. Great guy, really well respected within the community. What can you tell me about him, what he's meant to you, how much he's influenced you throughout this MMA journey?
Yeah, so, again, I picked up my life when I moved out here to Colorado. When I did that, I spent 6 months going to every single gym in Colorado trying to find a gym that fit me. I was at Factory X, I was at High Altitude, I was at Hama. The second I went into Genesis Training Academy, I felt at home, mainly because it's an old school type of gym. It's not a gym where they're going to hold your hand and baby you and ask you to show up. It's either you show up and put the work in, or they're not going to give you any attention. Jacob Ramos has given me so much attention over the years that I don't think I would ever get at another high-end gym like the gym that we have in with the clientele that he has. But though the MMA world doesn't know Jacob Ramos as much as he should. All the credit in the world to some of these other coaches that have gotten a lot of awards and a lot of maybe favoritism because of who they train with or who they train with as of late. But a lot of the guys in the UFC right now that talk about other coaches or other coaches talk about them should also be mentioning Jake Ramos. He has put in a lot of the foundation for a lot of these guys who are currently top 5 world champions in the UFC. He's an OG of the sport. He's been around forever. He's a world champion. He's trained world champions. His first world championship was Nate Marquardt versus Tyron Woodley. This guy has been in the fight game for a very, very long time. I think his best quality about him is, one, he has no ego. He allows us to cross-train, train with other gyms, train outside of his commandments. But then outside of that is that he is there for us. Again, I'm here on my own. I live in a house by myself. I train by myself. As you know, being involved in the fight world, it's a quiet, lonely life. He has been 100% a father figure for me, as well as his wife has been a mother figure for me. I'm there 8 hours a day almost. They've given me their gym to train my clientele out of without charging me a leg and an arm, giving me the ability to be financially independent while I pursue this career. So I can't thank Jacob Ramos and Genesis Training Academy and Colorado fight community more. I know that I wouldn't be where I am if I didn't move here and pursue it the way I am now.
And you get to represent Jake and Colorado and the whole community every time you step out there in the cage. So that's great. I know you're a kids MMA and wrestling coach at Genesis Training Academy. You spoke a little bit about it just now. What does it mean to you to teach the next generation of fighters? How do you feel like teaching? Do you feel like teaching them? I've talked to some people that teach them. Do you feel like teaching them kind of helps you hone in on your own skills and like helps you with your fundamentals as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do about 26 sessions a week between my personal clients, my group training classes, and then my kids' MMA program and things like that. Out of all the clientele that I have, my kids' MMA program is by far the most important to me. I actually don't take any financial compensation. All the money goes towards the gym and goes towards Genesis Training Academy. It's part of me giving back to them. I've been coaching kids ever since I started. I've always had the ability of communicating with younger generation and also have the ability to make things that don't make sense for others make sense for others. But it's super, super important for me. I think it's a requirement of a true martial artist to not only hone his own skills, but help the next generation create their skills. But it's not really about, the actual skills. It's about we're trying to change these kids. We're trying to turn them into young men and young women. And that's something I'm like, it almost brings me to tears how proud I am of it. Most of my kids in my class are either former bullies, have been bullied, or just, aren't those kids. They're not the coolest kids. They're a little different, a little unique, maybe a little out of shape and things like this. And every single one of them, every week we see leaps and bounds growth, not only in their physical development, their body manipulation, their control, their balance, but also, and more importantly, their social skills and their personal skills. They're truly growing up to be martial artists, and that's something I'm really proud of. But going back to what you're saying, do you think training people helps you fix your own game? And absolutely. I would say the one biggest saying that really gave me confidence going into my pro debut was quitting my job and not only, not having a side gig to pay the bills, but training MMA all the time, but also going back to the super, super basics and teaching these people super slowly and letting me go back and look at myself and say, oh, wow, now I do this compared to that. And I used to do this, but now I do that. I need to go back and change that and fix it. So I would say last year and a half of my pro career has been going back to the drawing board and just keeping it simple, stupid. And it's been amazing. I used to kind of chase that next move and that next skill, that next gym, that next coach. And now, man, I just do basic stuff with my clients. It just reaffirms the stuff that I'm going to do with my fights.
Oh yeah. What you spoke about, your goals for this year. You want to get a win here, of course, make it exciting, get another win, hopefully be on Dana White Contender Series alternate, maybe be on Tough next year. All that sounds great. What is your ultimate goal in this sport? What do you hope to achieve within the sport of MMA when it's all said and done?
I think that's a great question. And this might come across sounding just not egotistical, but stupid. But my only goal in this sport and the only thing I want to take from this sport is self-love and happiness. A lot of fighters are people that are suffering with mental difficulties and depression and things like that. Again, I've lost three of my brothers. One of them was killed by police officers. One of them killed himself. One of them OD'd on drugs. I've had many times in my life that I've been in really bad places and wanted to, again, turn the lights off. Fighting is that thing that just lights my soul and keeps my fire burning, that sense of competition. Yeah, I would love to be a household name. Yes, I would love to make money. Yes, I would love belts. Yes, I would love acclamations and records and things like this. But if I wake up at 45 years old and my body is completely destroyed by the sport and I don't have any of those things, accolades, money, success, as long as I love myself and I'm still happy doing it, that's all I want. And that's what I've gotten from it. So even during the losses early on during my amateur career, it didn't suck. I really kind of enjoyed it because I was like, man, at least I'm feeling something. The feeling to feel is such a powerful thing that I'd rather feel a loss than fucking sit at a desk all day, wanting to put a fucking gun in my throat. So my ultimate goal in this sport is just to live and just to have fun and just to enjoy it and not let the sport, the idea of success take over. And that's the one thing, man, I see it all the time, especially in my room, but just I think in Colorado, because Colorado MMA is not for the light of heart. Everyone here are killers that are trying to make it on a real level. Mm-hmm. So many fighters, man, treat this like a job. Yes, it should be a job. We should wake up early. We should treat our nutrition seriously. We should treat our recovery seriously. We should treat our training seriously. But if you're not having fun and you're not enjoying it and you're not waking up wanting to do it, you're not going to find success in the sport. You're not going to find longevity in the sport. And also, like, why the hell are you doing it? Are you someone who's just egotistical and just wants people to paying attention to him? Are you someone that wants money? Because we all know if you want to make money, there's way easier ways to make money in this world. This is not an easy way. I understand that some fighters maybe don't have other outlets. I certainly do. I know I could go chase 6 figures tomorrow. That doesn't bring me happiness. It doesn't bring me fulfillment. It's not the kind of competition I want. The competition I have is purely with myself to see if I'm as good in my mind as I think I am. And I don't mean as good as a fighter, but as good as a person I think I am. And fighting is hard. And we say it's constantly. It's 90% mental and 10% physical. And it's that mental that is going to decide if you're 10-0 or 5-5. At the end of the day, it's not going to be your skills that are going to take you through every single fight. Sooner or later, you're going to be put in really precarious situations that it's going to be your mental, your spirit that's going to take you through those places. And that's one thing I've been super proud of. I am one of the healthiest 31-year-old athletes you'll ever meet in your life. I've lived a healthy life my entire life. I've never drank. I've never smoked a cigarette a day in my life. But on top of that, I've had injuries and I've gone into a lot of fights with bad injuries or bad circumstances and prevailed. And that's what's really given me this ability to say, like, no matter what comes my way, I'm going to kill it. And that's what I'm excited for most.
Thank you for that answer, man. That was an amazing answer. Thank you. I got a speed round for you. You ready? 5
Let's
quick
do it.
questions. Let's do it. Favorite fighter growing up?
George St. Pierre, 100%. Not because of his skill and his style, but just because of his true love of being a martial artist.
Favorite dream fight? Someone you would like to fight, either past, present, doesn't matter.
Roy Val. He's the one guy at that gym, Factory X, that I respect a lot of. I think the guy is absolutely filthy, and I think his style is super unique, and I kind of just want to get punched by him.
I'll definitely send this clip his way, man. That's cool. I would love to see that fight. What about dream venue, dream city, dream country, somewhere you'd like to fight before it's all said and done?
That's a really good question. To be honest, like, really weird, but I think I would love to go fight in Canada. After watching that last fight card in Canada and just how every single fan was in the stands at the first fight and just the way they were like going crazy, but also seemed like they had fight IQ as fans. Like, I legitimately think non-American MMA fans have a little bit more fight IQ, and you see that at the fights where, small things happen, but you see big crowd reactions. So as weird as it says, I think I would like to fight in Toronto.
Okay, I like that. That would be cool. Method of victory in your upcoming fight. Any prediction?
Yeah, we're gonna knock him out in the third round, 100%. Either TKO on the ground or standing.
Okay. And then 3 UFC fighters you'd want by your side in a street fight, in a brawl.
Oh, that's a great question. John Jones, obviously, everyone says that. But the reason why I would pick John Jones is because the dude's got guns on guns on guns. I would not ask us to fight because if we're street fight, rules are gone. I would just be like, Bones, pull out the guns, bro. Drop the lead on them. So, like, I don't need anybody else. On top of that, what's the Monkey King's name? What's his name?
Jordan Levitt?
Yeah. Yeah. Just to
Well,
see him do
Jordan
some
Levitt.
just to see him do some splits on some dude. I would love to see him knock somebody out and then do some gay ass splits and just be like, that's your boy. You just got knocked out by that dude, man. And then thirdly, Tony Ferguson, for the same reason. I just want to see him ankle pick somebody while keeping his sunglasses off just to see how cool that would look.
So, Micah Haas, John Jones, the Monkey King, Jordan Levitt, and Tony Ferguson. That's it.
Yeah, we might not win. We might not win that fight. But it would be a dirty, cool, fun fight. And like there's 100% gonna be an oil check in that fight.
I would pay to see it, man. That would be a good one. 2 last questions here. I finish every interview with this question, but I got one more after. But when it's all said and done, fighting, training, teaching, all this other stuff, what do you want people to remember most about Micah Super Jew Haas above all else?
I don't give a shit what people think and remember about me, man. Again, I really am not doing this for anybody else's satisfaction. I 100% appreciate all my sponsors. I 100% appreciate all my fans. Obviously, none of us can do this without that. But at the end of the day, I don't care what the voices say about me. I'm doing this for my own self goals, my own self drive. And at the end of the day, if nobody has anything to say about me, as long as I'm happy on my side, I'm gonna be okay.
It's a good mentality to have. I very much respect that. And then last but not least, what's some advice you'd have, some life advice, one piece of advice you'd like to share with the world, with maybe your fans, maybe fellow fighters coming up? It doesn't have to be a fighter, but just one piece of advice you'd like to share with the world right now.
Yeah, your life isn't that hard. We are all insanely blessed individuals, especially if you live in this country. The opportunities that we have in today's day and age is insane. Stop listening to like Instagram, stop listening to the news, stop listening to your politicians. Suck it up. Your life is not that hard. I had a really hard life. I had to crawl out of disgust and filth and violence to get where I'm at. And I'm not kind of saying if I can do it, you can do it, because there are so many people that have it way harder than I had it. And I grew up when I was 16, 17 years old, angry at the world. Woe is me. I shouldn't have to deal with all this. I wish this wasn't me mindset, and that's failure mindset. Suck up, do something with your life. And if you're not going to do something with your life, get out of the way of everybody else that is.
Hell yeah, man. Micah, the Super Jew Haas, taking on Isaiah Torres for a flyweight championship belt. Main event, Battle MMA Championships 13, April 27th in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Thank you, man, for taking the time. I really appreciate it. And good luck going forward, man. I'm excited to watch your career unfold, man.
Thank you so much, man. I wanted to say thank you, Dylan Rush. I think you are legitimately the future of MMA news reporting, however you want to state it. I think one thing that you do above everybody else, you look at all these guys that are the big name commentators and reporters. They all ask the same questions, and they're all asking the same guys the same questions. I think it's unbelievable that you give guys like me on the regional scene, guys that don't maybe have a household name, a platform to talk about who we are, because these other guys don't. And I think you ask some of the best questions when you're in front of the biggest fighters in the world. And I am sure the world is going to open up to you, and you're going to absolutely accomplish all your goals, and you're going to be one of the biggest names on this side of the sport. by the time I'm one of those too. So I'm gonna be playing catch up with you, and I really appreciate all you've done for us. And with this time, I also just want to shout out a couple of my sponsors and a couple of people on my team that are really important to me, because without them, I wouldn't be in front of you talking to you now. Again, obviously Jacob Ramos and Genesis Training Academy. It's one of the best gyms in the country. If you are in Colorado or looking to come to Colorado, please hit us up. Please come train with us. We have space. We're looking to add more fighters to our roster. I also want to shout out Fitsoul Fitness Solutions. It's a gym that I've been sponsored and training with for the last year. They've helped with my strength and conditioning program. We just broke ground. We're rebuilding our gym. Come June and August, it's going to be one of the best gym programs in the entire state, from having all different types of holistic care and healthcare and things like that. I really look forward to that, and I recommend, if you're in the Federal Zuni area, you live downtown, please come join us. It's an amazing gym with an amazing price. And then again, Artrak Petrosian with Nightmare Management. He's as real gets. This dude nonstop fighting for us. We've said yes to 11 opponents in the recent months, with none of them saying yes back to us. And Art doesn't stop. Most managers usually will kind of slow down and stop working for you when it gets that hard. This guy doesn't. So if you're in that position where you're not getting fights or not getting the fights you think are valid for you, please hit me up. Hit up Artrak Petrosian. He's one of the best. I don't want to keep rambling on, but these people are really important to me. Laylee Schultz, who's one of the best nutritionists in the world, Fuel Your Fight Camp. This is the first time I'm going to be working with her. I usually do all my own nutrition, as I am a nutritionist myself, but I want to turn over every single rock and be a true professional. I'm giving her my whole trust, and she's been absolutely amazing. The whole entire fight community across the world knows who she is. On top of having great gym, great coach, great fight agent, great nutritionist. I got a great massage therapist I want to shout out. Saw him for 2 hours today. Heavy Elbow Body Works. Check him out on Instagram. Absolutely phenomenal for fascia removal, especially for the athletes that have legitimate aches and problems like that. And then lastly, Uptown Humboldt. It's a phenomenal restaurant down in Southeast Denver. I first met them a couple of years ago when it was just a small little food truck. They're giving really healthy food in a food truck, and I just thought that was awesome. And I just want to be a part of them. And then now they're huge, and they have a beautiful restaurant and cook some amazing food. So check them out on Instagram and, Google and everything like that. Uptown Humboldt. So I just want to say thank you to all my promoters, all my sponsors, all my fans, and guys like you, Dylan. I appreciate you so much for giving me the platform to talk about myself and things like this. And then finally, follow me on Instagram, _MMA. Follow my website and my nutrition and my workout plans at BeYourBestYouFitness.com. And April 27th, Colorado Springs. Buy tickets. If not, watch online. Support your boy while I go kill this man.
Oh yeah, man. Good luck. I want to say real quick, I appreciate you thinking. I want to say stop thanking me. I appreciate it though, but thank you, man. Thank you for taking all this time out of your day. You're saying thank me for giving you a platform. That's all I want. All I want doing this stuff is to help fighters in any small way that I can. The small platform I have to give you guys a platform to help connect you with the fans, because I feel like the more the fans connect with the athletes, the more the fans will be interested in the fights, interested in the sport. The more the sport grows, more money for people, more opportunity. Everybody's happy. So I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man. We're all gonna grow together. We're gonna be taking over.
Oh yeah, and I wanted to say, you said that I might be coming up while you're coming up, even though I'm not a fighter. I would love to climb through the ranks side by side and see you climb up and keep going up while I am. So that's gonna be cool.
Hell yeah, man.
I'm excited to keep following your journey. Thank you, man. Thanks for taking the time. I'll see you soon.
Excellent. Yes.
First of many.
Awesome. Real quick, if you can add this into it real quick, because they actually just paid me today. I need to shout the sponsor out.
Yes.
If we can somehow put this in, that'll be great. North Blend is one of the best tinctures, CBD and THC infused tinctures, the best muscle relaxer. I'm addicted to these guys. I use them all day long. Actually, just before you and I were talking, I was just using up the last of this jar. I'm going to be getting another jar. So the North Blend, if you don't know, now you know, legitimately the highest concentration of CBD muscle relaxer that you can find, and they're a third of prices of everybody else. So go check them out.
Hell yeah, man.
Awesome. All right, bro. I appreciate you so much, dude.
I'll see you, bro. Be good. And this will be the first money, man. That was such a good interview. Goddamn. I appreciate
it. It was dope. I appreciate you, bro.
Chef it up. I'll see you, dog.
Peace.